shot from behind. Put off the glass, no problem at all. Smith up to the cradle. Got locked up. One guy that's got an angle on it, and he cuts back on it. Tip ball. That couldn't grab a ball. He's fly to right field against the wind. It's out of here. Buries it. We're tied at 19.
Welcome everyone to Viking Arena on the campus of Princeton High School on Chester Road in Cincinnati, Ohio. ICRC-TV Sports is pleased to present a girls varsity matchup in the loaded Greater Miami Conference. The Fairfield Indians have made the trip over to take on the Princeton Vikings. I'm Glenn Olson, joined by the guy in his first year of coaching at Milford High School in the boys program, David Olson. David, this should be a pretty competitive match, and as I said, a very loaded GMC this year.
Yeah, Glenn, thank you. As you said, a loaded GMC. Both these teams finished tied for third last year in the conference, and both bringing back a lot of starters and a lot of talent. So I'm excited to watch this game and see what plays out.
Just getting underway here with player introductions. A good crowd on hand here for a cold and snowy Saturday afternoon in the tri-state area. We saw a very competitive and a very physical JV matchup prior to this varsity matchup, and we're expecting that same level of intensity in this game.
Yeah, Glenn, you love seeing that level of intensity at a JV level, and you want it to carry over at the varsity level. Obviously, you don't want to see bad plays and bad sportsmanship, but it was pretty clean near the end, and we were almost headed to overtime. But I'm excited to see what both of these varsity programs bring to the court on a Saturday afternoon.
A lot of experience coming back for both of these teams. Reading through some of the preview articles that were published back in November about the girls basketball scene here in Cincinnati. Both of these teams with a good amount of returning players. Princeton has 5 starters back from last year as well.
Yeah, Glenn, and that's wonderful for a coach. You got to love that. 5 starters, so you know what, as players, you know what your coach expects of you, and as a coach, you know what to expect of your players, and that's very good for the learning of a program, that all these kids can develop and bond to what the coach really wants to do and how he wants to take the program.
It's going to be very interesting today to watch the defensive efforts by the Princeton Lady Vikings. When you go on the GMC stats portion of the GMC Sports website, Princeton doesn't have a gigantic presence on the offensive side. You go over to the defensive side, and they're all over that. They really know how to play good, aggressive defense.
Yeah, Glenn, as you mentioned, and we talked about before, Deasia Reed, the 6-foot senior post player, is averaging 9.5 rebounds a game, and you love that. Like, if you can control the boards, you're going to win basketball games. And
averaging just about a block and a half a game as well for the 6-foot senior, as you mentioned. Definitely no slouches on offense either, but we are underway. And the opening tip will be controlled by the Lady Vikings. That's Willow White, number 21, controlling the ball. Lady Vikings will put their offense in motion. Feed underneath, up and off the glass, and it falls through. 2 points for Jamisha Smith.
And she's right, Glenn, right now she's 5th in field goal percentage in the GMC, so they're going to look to get her the ball a lot.
Yeah, going to be good physical matchups. Really no height mismatches on the floor right now. Fairfield has a deep bench. They will play a lot. Princeton has players, I think all but one of their players have played in all of their contests this season so far. But Fairfield, pretty even distribution of the minutes. Fairfield's first offensive possession does not result in points. Quickly, the Lady Vikings are back down underneath. The ball stolen away under the rim. Lady Indians will try to push the ball down quickly. Drive through the paint. Shot will not go for Zaria Bailey, number 4, the junior guard.
Glenn, that was a great job right there, coming back down the court and, drawing the foul. She missed the layup, but they're attacking the offensive glass and getting that and put it back up to go to the charity stripe.
First free throw attempt will not fall through. Foul was on the Vikings' Jamisha Smith, number 32. First for her, first for the team. Second free throw falls through. Lady Indians find the scoreboard 2-1 in the opening minute of the first quarter here at Princeton High School. Wide open, not much defense being played by the Indians down there, but the shot will not fall for Ashley Thomas. Fairfield with the rebound. They'll reset the offense.
The Vikings are getting good looks and they're open. They just got to be more patient on that shot. She can't throw that up right away. She can draw a foul. She gets a shot fake and gets that Fairfield defender in the air and then go to the charity stripe for 2.
Khalees Jones was handling the ball. Shot goes up, rolls in and out for Zaria Bailey. Rebound underneath, won't fall. Boy, these Lady Indians just can't buy a bucket. Glass not treating them friendly, and there's going to be a foul on one of the Lady Vikings coming in from behind. I believe that's going to be on Jackie Heinzman. It is indeed. So her first, team second now. You're going to see on the replay. Shot just won't come in there. You see Heinzman with the push on the back. Pretty incidental, but counts nonetheless.
Great way of rebounding there by the Indians. I mean, you got to attack the offensive glass, and the Lady Vikings have to box out if they want to win this game. You got to be physical in the post, and you got to control that glass.
Addie Kidd tried to put that shot up underneath, and it gets partially deflected. Turnover, and the referee's going to stop things on the floor. Trying to get some clarification over at the scores table, which is just partially out of your shot. Not sure why the stoppage in play. There's our, who I assume is the lead man on the crew today, Greg Sims. He's joined on the floor by Dave Seafried and Andrew Galliano. So we're back underway. Lady Vikings will have the ball at midcourt where they will inbound it. Approaching the 6-minute mark of the opening quarter. Indians in a 3-2 defense, kind of tight up top. There's a three-point attempt's going to go up, air ball. Rebounded easily by the Lady Vikings.
Just quick shots. I mean, Princeton really has to slow down and just find their groove here, Glenn.
Maddie Schaefer being well defended on the far boundary. They'll reset the offense up top. Zaria Bailey with the basketball. Motion begins for Fairfield. They're going to try Schaefer again. They're really trying to get the ball. She drives in, gets deflected from behind. All kinds of contact underneath. I believe that's going to be another foul on a Lady Vikings. Should be number 3 here in the first quarter.
Another quick foul there, Glenn. And as for the Vikings, you just can't be happy with that. 3 quick fouls, and we're only not even three full minutes into the first quarter. So they really got to be careful what they do here as she knocks down that first free throw.
Ashley Thomas picks up her first, the team's third. Thomas will come out of the game, taking her place, Deasia Reed in the low post. First free throw was good. We're tied at 2. Fairfield with a chance to take the lead. Free throw rolls in and out. Reed corrals the ball underneath the basket. Lady Vikings will bring the ball down and reset their offense. All tied at 2 here. Both teams having a hard time finding good shots with very physical post play underneath the basket. Really only seen the one perimeter shot go up so far by Fairfield, which was an air ball.
Great ball movement. Great ball movement.
Drive in, up and off the glass, no good. And we're going to have Fairfield's first foul underneath as Deasia Reed was trying to come up with that basketball for the Vikings.
I mean, that was a good look by Reed there to just be in midair and find that open teammate in the corner. But just again, nobody can buy a bucket right now, even if they wanted to.
Foul's called on Fairfield's Maddie Schaefer, her first, team first. Wide open three-point look from the near corner. Falls in and out. I mean, these baskets do not like these teams so far. The ball just will not go through the hole.
I guess Darius of the men's program has been dunking too much.
Make sure you check out that Sycamore Princeton men's matchup at ICRC-TV.com for a dunk fest last night. Princeton won away, or running away, tongue twister. 4:39 to go in the opening quarter. Still just 4 points scored, 2 each. Fairfield's going to inbound it. That's Addie Kidd. He's going to try to get it in as Fairfield breaks their stack, tries to find somebody open. Indeed, they will with Zaria Bailey. Bailey hanging out on the perimeter, trying to wait for something to open up down in the post. There's going to be a shot just inside the three-point line. It's off the mark for Schaefer. Schaefer getting back on defense, but the ball's still right underneath the basket, so Fairfield playing at a little bit of a disadvantage there. It's going to be ruled out on Fairfield. The Lady Vikings will take over. Substitution into the game for Princeton is Malika Wilden. She's a senior guard, 5'4", wearing jersey number 3. Drive in, dish trying to find Reed underneath.
Great job by Kidd, get that ball there, Glenn.
Reed was wide open, but good defense by the Indians.
I like what Fairfield was doing there with the half-court 1-3-1. That can be very effective. I know some teams that run it personally, and it's very effective if you run it right.
Reed couldn't get a clean look. They're going to pass the ball back around the perimeter doing a good job of playing keep away from the Lady Indians defense. Drive in, shot goes up, will not fall that time for number 21, Willow White. And out of bounds.
That's what 4 minutes into the first quarter, Glenn. I would say the story is offensive rebounds and passing for the Vikes. If the Vikes don't give up as many offensive rebounds, they could have more in passing. I mean, we're looking like with Coach Pop and the Spurs, just great ball movement.
Drive through the lane. Deasia Reed just reaches her arm out and takes that one right out of the hands of Addie Kidd of Fairfield. Good shot of Kidd right there. You're going to see it on the replay here. Watch Reed, number 50, right there.
Effortless. I mean, didn't
she just reached up.
I mean, I guess that helps when you're a 6-foot girl.
Long three-pointer will not go. Struggle for control of the ball underneath. We knew this was going to be a physical game with a lot of defense, and it has lived up to that so far. So another foul with a push from behind. That one's going to go on Reed, number 50. That'll be her first, team's fourth. Fairfield's going to try a little full court press here. Or Princeton is, excuse me. Fairfield finds a way to break it. Can they get a good shot off? Reed again just reaches up and doesn't even have to swat at the ball, just puts her arm out there. But here's Reed down on the other end. Nice spin move underneath. Ball won't go. Struggle for control. Princeton comes back up with it. Good ball movement on the perimeter. Another three-pointer goes in from the corner, but it's just going to go for two. A foot on the line. That one went down by Jackie Heinzman.
Foul.
Yeah, foul back. Again, Princeton putting that press out and Fairfield struggling to break it.
Wilden with the foul there.
Go back and take a look at a replay on our last shot from the corner there. You can see just inside the three-point line, but really one of the cleaner looks and one of the cleaner shots we've seen go up from the perimeter in this game so far.
Yeah, and the ball movement, as we've talked about, has been great. I really want to see Princeton slow the ball down and just be patient and let the offense develop. And if you get a few reversals, the defense is going to get tired, and then there's going to be an open look.
Good job of breaking the press by Fairfield. Shot's going to go up from the perimeter, will not fall down for Alexis Yarborough. Lady Indians managed to rebound it, however. They'll reset the offense, approaching the 2:30 mark in the opening quarter. Shot goes up. It's going to be well off the mark for Zaria Bailey. Bailey gets an assist. Underneath from Schaefer. The shot just will not fall. Very nearly a turnover there for the Lady Indians. Once again, Bailey will reset the offense.
This is what I like to see here, Glenn. She's becoming a floor general. She's letting the offense develop and letting the players get in the right spot so that they can run a designed play and hopefully buy a bucket.
Three-point attempt will not fall for Tori Williams. Rebound by the Vikings. Quickly back down the court. And a foul as Jackie Heinzman put the shot up. She'll go to the free throw line and shoot a pair. It's a blocking foul that will be called underneath.
I would have liked to have seen Williams take the charge here, Glenn, and just plant the feet and try to draw that offensive charge and get momentum back their way.
Nonetheless, Williams gets the block. First free throw attempt well off the mark for Heinzman. Substitution for the Lady Vikings. They're using their bench. Kamias Sandage into the game. Heinzman's second free throw will not fall. Reed comes up with it for Princeton, puts a shot up. It won't fall. Fairfield gets a clean rebound. One of the few times we've seen that. They've got a clean defensive rebound underneath. Good matchup with Reed and Schaefer down in that low post right now, away from the ball. Lots of contact. Baseline drive and a foul. Tori Williams tried to drive in. She'll go to the free throw line. Good shot of Tori there. She'll shoot a pair.
Just a great drive here, and they're going to call her just for getting up in the air and swatting and being behind. They'll call that every day. Now, if she was straight up, they wouldn't have called it. But with her trying to swing at it from behind, they're going to call that every day of the week.
Willow White picks up her first. Lady Vikings now with 6. Substitution for Fairfield. 30's in for 31. So Alessa West is in. Alexis Yarborough goes out. Second free throw will not fall. Score holds at 4-2 with 1:30 remaining.
Now Fairfield's got to use this. With Princeton having 6 fouls early in the first quarter, they're going to be shooting 1-on-1 the rest of the half. They got to keep drawing fouls.
Feed to Reed in the middle and easily up and off the glass. 6-2 Lady Vikings, 1:15 remaining in the opening quarter. They've got a good matchup with Schaefer down there on Reed, but boy, Reed just will not be denied down there.
10 seconds.
And a 10-second call, and Coach David Loper not happy with the officials at this point in the game. There's a lot of tension in the JV game with that staff as well, and that seems to have carried over here, even though we've got a different set of officials on the floor. Under a minute to go now. Princeton playing ball control offense. Thought about dishing it to Reed underneath. She was well guarded by Schaefer. Well, they really want that low post shot. They don't want to shoot from the perimeter. There's Reed with the hook. Won't go. Turnover.
And Fairfield, we shoot 1-on-1.
Push from behind. So that's going to be foul number 2 on Malika Wilden, the senior guard for the Lady Vikings. And as David said, we're now in the bonus situation for Fairfield with 7 team fouls on the Lady Vikings.
And you got to use that, Glenn. It's huge. You got to keep attacking the basket hard and drawing the fouls to get to the free throw line. I mean, they're called free for a reason. It's a free shot. You got to make them.
You got to make them. You're exactly right. Zaria Bailey, just a little bit too much mustard on that one. And a traveling call underneath, called up by Dave Seafried, our official down in the post area at this point in the game.
And Coach Loper is walking on thin ice right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I get that was very confusing. The horn went off, and they should have known. Like the ball should have been stopped because of the horn blowing, and it should have been a dead ball under the hoop. But Coach Loper he's fired up early on a Saturday afternoon.
Greg Sims, the official there, talking to Coach Loper, trying to explain what happened on the floor. Coach Loper's not buying it based on his body language.
The refs are not always right, but they're never wrong.
That's right. Hey, they're the guys that have the power, right?
I guess you could say that.
Well,
it's true.
That's the agreed upon rules. Oh, Reed with a nice dish underneath, and it falls for the Lady Vikings. Nice job underneath there by Jamisha Smith off the dish from Reed. 8-2, the Lady Vikings begin to pull away here.
The Lady Vikings playing a tight man-to-man defense. And it's great because Fairfield's not getting very good looks.
Yeah.
And Fairfield's just feeling pressured and having to bring the ball out where they're trying to work the ball inside, and they just can't because that man-to-man defense is so tight.
Reed with another attempt at a swat, but a good display of sportsmanship there. She picks up Bailey off the floor. Team foul number 8 now for the Lady Vikes. Take us through the replay, Dave.
And she just went up, and they're gonna call it every time when you swing because you see that a lot in the guys' game because the guys' game they want to swing as hard as they can and they want to be all showy. But if she would have been straight up, they wouldn't have called it.
Zaria Bailey makes the first free throw, second one on the way. All of a sudden, the Vikings, or the Indians, with a little bit of offensive momentum. The Lady Indians come up with the ball there, but Bailey stepped on the baseline, unfortunately, so it's a turnover. Ball will go back to the Lady Vikes. 3.5 seconds left in this quarter.
I like the idea of a man-to-man press when you're down 4 here with 2 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah, don't let him get a good shot. And had the Lady Vikings, Kamaya Sandage, been able to come up with that ball, was passed out just a little bit in front of her, she might have been able to get a shot off. So your score at the end of 1, it's the Princeton Lady Vikings 8, the Fairfield Lady Indians 4. This game's been everything we thought it would be so far, David. Tough defense.
Yeah, and you have to love to see that because defense wins championships, Glenn. And if they want to contend for another GMC title, they got to be solid on the defensive side. Yes, it's a 4-point game, but it's early. It's a Saturday afternoon. The teams. I feel like as the game goes on, it's going to just get more aggressive, and it's not going to be a very high-scoring matchup. I maybe see this game maxing out at 30 points each, just because the defense is so tight and they're denying everything.
Do want to take a moment to go through our TV replay schedule that's on your screen right now for our Spectrum and Optics customers. Big welcome in to those who have tuned in for our live stream broadcast at ICRC-TV.com. Don't forget, you can find all of our archived content at that same website, ICRC-TV.com, ICRC-TV.com. So Fairfield still within shooting distance here. They only trail by 4, but offensive buckets have been hard to come by so far.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to keep working the ball, and they got to keep, you know, being patient on offense and not be as tough on defense, Glenn. And as we're going to see here, Fairfield starting with the ball here to start the second quarter, and I think the momentum's on their side because they ended with, you know, Princeton's got 8 fouls. They ended with the big defensive stop. So I think having the ball here, and if they get a big bucket, it's only a 2-point game or a 1-point game, depending on what the shot they take, and I think we'll be right back in it.
Lady Indians with the possession arrow pointing their way here to start the second quarter, and we're underway. See what the Lady Indians were able to do in regard to adjustments during the quarter break, trying to find a way to break through this somewhat stifling Lady Vikings defense. Fairfield just seems desperate to want to get something going in the post, and they can't seem to get the ball worked in there.
I want to see Addie Kidd of Fairfield just be aggressive and be the aggressor on Reed down there from Princeton and look for the ball, and she's got to demand it. If she demands the ball, they're going to throw it to her, but if she's just going to keep running block to block and not demand it, they're not going to throw it to her.
Drive in by Bailey. Lots of body contact with Reed.
Good look.
Good rebound. That time by Fairfield's number 13, Addie Kidd, and she's fouled. She'll go to the free throw line and shoot a pair.
And like we mentioned before in the first quarter, Glenn, it's offensive rebounds. It's just, that's the story of Fairfield's game so far. Offensive rebounds and free throws. You got to make them here. You have to make free throws.
Kamaya Sandage, the guilty party for the Lady Vikings. Now 9 team fouls. That's Kamaya's first. Kidd's second free throw on the way. Falls through. 8-5. 7:18 remaining. A little bit of pressure being put out by Bailey. Princeton's able to drive through it straight to the bucket. A dish to the perimeter. Shot clings off the rim, getting her own rebound. Puts up an underhand shot that will not fall. Fairfield's going to get the rebound or get control of the ball down in the corner. That was Willow White for Princeton with the rebound and underhanded shot. Last touch by Fairfield. Ball will stay with the Lady Vikings, excuse me. Feed to Reed. She's going to put one up from about 10 feet. It won't go. She gets her own rebound off the glass. Good for 2.
Reed's going to be a force in the game. If she averages 9.5 rebounds a game, you got to get low and drive her out of the paint and give her a chance to get a defensive rebound, because there should be 3 crashers and then there should be someone at half court and then someone at full court just to stop that full court transition.
Bailey drove down, dished over to Tori Williams on the far wing. Shot did not fall. Last touch by the Lady Vikings. Fairfield will get it underneath their own basket. They bring it back in. Kidd from the near wing won't fall. Deasia Reed easily rebounds it. Fairfield's Maddie Schaefer is going to have to figure out a way to get Reed out of the way in the paint. Foul's going to be called on Fairfield. Go ahead, David.
That's on Addie Kidd. I mean, we've got 12 total team fouls here.
3 of them.
It's crazy. It's I mean, just very aggressive game as we thought it would be.
Shot goes up and somehow falls through for Kamaya Sandage. Just kind of shot putted that ball up there. I thought it was going to cling off, but it found a friendly bounce. 12-5.
Great job of drawing the foul there, and they got it into Schaefer, as you just mentioned. They found a way to get in, and she drew the foul. And whether it was shooting or not, she'd be shooting 2 free throws anyway. So let's see if she can go to the charity stripe and get the game back within 5 points.
Ashley Thomas picks up number 2, 10 now on the Lady Vikings. Schaefer's shot rolls out of the cylinder.
Oh, that just hurts to watch.
Yeah, free throw percentage is not going to be anything to brag about in this game based on what we've seen in the first 10 minutes or so. Second one falls through for Schaefer.
Did you call the bank? Is it open? I guess so.
Saturday hours today.
Charge. Great job by Schaefer taking the charge there. That was on number 5, Trinity Morris.
Foul number 11.
It's a great job of Schaefer.
Oof.
I don't know. Her feet looked like to be moving, but they must have been planted long enough to draw the charge, and with it being player control, no double. So Fairfield takes over on offense.
Going to be patient this time. Bailey with the ball up near midcourt. Now they're going to put the offense in motion. Feed inside to Schaefer with the hook. Can't get it to fall. Rebound underneath. Ball goes up. Fairfield again comes up with the rebound before Princeton's going to grab the latest defensive rebound. Nice drive down. Underhanded prayer goes up. No, will not fall through for Kamaya Sandage. Fairfield quickly back down the court. Boy, the shot selection just leaving a little bit to be desired, but back the other way. Kamaya again off the glass, good for 2. 14-6, Lady Vikings, 5:25 remaining.
That was a great way to finish in transition. Sorry, Glenn.
No, you're good.
But I want to see Fairfield just slow down. I mean, I just feel like they're throwing up quick shots, and where they're taking good shots, but they could even get a great shot if they're just a little bit more patient here on offense.
Honestly, it seems like both teams are. That's going to be a travel. Yeah.
Silly mistakes, Glenn. I mean, it's been the whole game. Silly mistakes. I mean, each team has something they got to talk to here in about 5 minutes about, and hopefully they can make some good halftime adjustments.
It looked to me like Reese tripped over another player's foot down there, and that's what caused her to stutter and take that extra step. I don't think that was a mental gaffe. It was just an obstruction, but just my opinion. Nonetheless, Lady Vikes back with the ball. 5 minutes now to go in the second quarter. Good motion offense. Double dribble. It's going to be called on Kamaya Sandage as the Lady Vikings attempted to work the ball around the three-point line.
Got 14-6, 4:56 left in the half.
Fairfield trying to get something to open up. Dish off to the side to Kidd. Kidd puts it back up top. Looking for Schaefer down in the post. She passes it off, and a travel will be called. So I think Fairfield has done a great job of being patient from about midcourt to, about a quarter of the way down, and then once they get down on the perimeter, they seem to get pretty anxious and, treat the ball like a hot potato down there.
Yeah, and you just got to slow down and, bring the ball back out to half court, look at your coach, find something to set up. Every team's got set plays. Run one, just see what you can do to exploit the defense.
Trying to get it to Reed down in the low post. Turnover. Here come the Lady Indians. Didn't do a great job at transition that time. Schaefer with that hook move. Can't get it to fall. Lady Indians come up with the rebound. All alone underneath. And she didn't miss that one, did she? Maddie Schaefer gets 2 points.
That was a gimme.
14-8. Under 4 minutes to go in the first half.
But that was great ball movement by the Indians there. I mean, they just pass it around, and like I said, if you reverse it enough, there's going to be an open person because the defense is going to be tired.
Travel. Travel called as Rochelle tried to pass it off to Willow White, so another turnover for Jill Phillips and the Lady Vikings. One thing they'll be talking about at halftime is reducing the turnovers.
Yeah, for sure, Glenn. For sure.
Lady Indians back on offense after the traveling call. Trying to feed it down underneath to Alexis Yarborough and just got out in front of her a little bit, so turnover right back. Lady Vikings right back with the ball.
This game just seems like it's a lot worse than it actually is. I mean, it's only 6 points.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like just Fairfield's kind of playing down just because they're down 6 and they're not getting a lot of good buckets.
Reed from 15 feet. Shot will not fall. And it's going to go to Fairfield. They're going to rule that the ball last touched Madison Rochelle. Fairfield's going to Princeton's going to dial up the defense now. Full court press. Going to make Fairfield work for it to get across the midcourt line.
2-2-1. You don't see that a lot, Glenn. A 2-2-1 just because that leaves the paint wide open.
Wow.
What a save.
Yeah, nice save. Good heads up play there by Fairfield's number 34, Kayla Somerville.
Willow White with the foul there. Shooting 2 for the Indians.
Chance to close this lead down to 4 points. First free throw on the way, bounces off the front iron. A little bit too much spin. Not enough velocity. Shot number 2 on the way. That one falls through effortlessly. 14-9, lead down to 5 for the Lady Vikings. Fairfield's going to try a little pressure of their own.
Somebody's got to stop the ball and be a block.
Trinity Morris just drove it straight down, took it to the hole, and gets fouled underneath.
Fairfield's got to stop the ball there, Glenn, as we're going to see on the replay. You can't let that happen when you got 2 people chasing her. I know some mentalities are flood and find, so flood the paint and find the ball just so they can't get an easy bucket.
Maddie Schaefer picks up her second foul, just the 4th for the Lady Indians here in the first half. Just a few ticks under the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. First free throw was no good. Second attempt on the way. It clangs off the back iron. Deasia Reed comes up with the rebound, passes it off. Shot just inside the 3-point line will fall through from Madison Rochelle, the freshman guard. Just a freshman starting on the varsity here for the Lady Vikings. Well, playing varsity, I guess I should say.
Yeah, oh, looking through the paint. Oh, my goodness.
Shot goes up and one. So Fairfield's found a way to make a little run here, turning up the tempo a little bit. We're going to see on the replay here is Journey Hicks. Goes up off the glass.
Great job of getting Deasia Reed off her feet, and then they'll be able to drive by her, and then as Reed was trying to recover, just to draw the foul. That's perfect. That's what you want to see.
Free throw no good. Easily rebounded by Reed underneath. Score holds 16-11. Struggle for control of the ball. Nobody wants it. Fairfield's going to come up with it on the floor and wisely call a timeout, and then some extracurricular activities afterward with Reed and Journey Hicks of Fairfield, and Reed getting up a little gingerly, looking for one of her teammates to help her up. Finally, our official, Mr. Seafried, helps her up. But
I guess that's what they're there for, too, to help you up.
Reed was looking around for a hand. Her teammates were making their way down to the end of the court, so she'll come out and be tended to by the training staff. Just a little bit of a limp. I'm sure we'll see her back out on the floor. They'll get her loosened up, maybe taped up, and definitely don't want to lose her, the presence she's had underneath on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, just she's controlling the defensive side, and when they find her on offense, she's a force just because she knows what moves to make, and she knows how to exploit the defense. So I bet it's just a roll. She might come in with a minute or so left in the half, or even keep her out for the rest of the half just so she can a little rest it while at halftime.
2:21 remaining, 16-11. Fairfield has spent a lot of time on the offensive end of the floor and just haven't got the points to show for it. And then there's a silly turnover with a travel called on Zaria Bailey. She appeals to the referee. Just makes his way back down to the other end. Princeton gets the ball back into play quickly. Nice ball control going coast to coast. Trinity Morris.
Foul there on number 31, Alexis Yarborough, and the Fairfield bench is not very pleased with that call, and neither is Coach Loper.
5 fouls now on the game, or in the half, for Fairfield. First free throw attempt falls through for Morris. First point of the game for Morris. Lead out to 17-11, and that's where it will hold. Rebound by Fairfield. Well, sometimes you got to pass the ball. I get trying to drive through the pressure, but Journey Hicks just got her body through, but not the ball.
Wow. Alexis Yarborough with another foul, and I don't know about that one, Glenn. I thought that was pretty clean on the deflection, but the refs are always right, so it is what it is.
Her first, team 6th. Substitution for Fairfield. Hicks comes out. Princeton underneath their own basket. Shot goes up from about 15 feet, will not fall for Jamisha Smith. Rebounded by Princeton, though. There's Morris. She's going to drive in, lost her dribble. Picked up by Fairfield. They'll move it down to their offensive end quickly. Princeton able to get a defense set up, though. Three-pointer, no good. Off the back iron, that attempt put up by Fairfield, Zaria Bailey.
Man, block party down there in the paint.
Sure was. It's number 31, Alexis Yarborough, tried to go up. Easy bucket will not fall at the other end for Hicks. Or excuse me, for Jackie Heinzman. Oh boy, Fairfield has done that a few times tonight with the long passes, just getting it too far out in front of their player, or not getting a good grasp on the ball. Yeah, so another turnover for Fairfield. Princeton with the ball in their defensive backcourt. The Lady Vikings will burn their first timeout of the game as we're just under 1 minute to go here in the second quarter. Coach Phillips wants to make an adjustment to this man-to-man defense that Fairfield was displaying on this beginning of an offensive possession for Princeton.
Yeah, and the man-to-man's tough, especially late in the half. You know, teams are tired, legs are tired, and if they're playing a tight man-to-man or defense, it's going to be tough just because if they're face guarding someone or however they're playing, there's not going to be a lot of open passing ways. So we'll see what Coach Phillips does here and what she wants to do with the last 59.1 seconds left here in the first.
Malika Wowden steps away from the huddle to check in at the scorer's table. She'll be going out onto the floor after this full timeout is over. See the Lady Indians breaking their huddle. Coach Loper. This team's still within shooting distance, 17-11. Sure would love to get a turnover here and an easy basket to try to narrow this deficit back down to that 4-point range before halftime, I would think.
Yeah, and if there's no jump balls, it looks like it should be their ball coming out, so if they can get within shooting distance.
Fairfield's going to stay with that man-to-man look. Try to make things a little bit harder. Princeton able to fight through it pretty easily, but a turnover underneath as Willow White lost her footing. Here comes Bailey. Shot will not fall. Easily rebounded by the Vikings. They've got a 3-on-2 before the defense catches it up. Jackie Heinzman's going to slow things down a little bit. Princeton's going to try to bleed out this clock under 30 seconds to go now. The 6-point lead. About as patient as we've seen Princeton with the ball on offense all night, honestly.
But it's good. She's got to get rid of the ball here, but you want one shot. You don't want Fairfield to have a chance at a buzzer beater and take the momentum with them at half. You want to get one shot. You want to start going with about 6 or 7 left.
Shot underneath will not fall for Willow White, but the ball is going to stay with Princeton. Just under 4 seconds to go. So Princeton did a good job. They burnt 26 seconds off of the second quarter clock on that offensive possession alone coming out of that timeout. Now the chance to rebound.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
Almost too easy for Jackie Heinzman. Coming into the lane, taking the inbound pass and putting it up. Your score at halftime, the Princeton Lady Vikings 19, Fairfield Lady Indians 11. I'm Glenn Olson here with David Olson. We'll be back with you just a few minutes with the second half of today's GMC Girls Varsity Basketball matchup on ICRC-TV Sports. Welcome back to the second half ICRC-TV sports coverage of the Fairfield Lady Indians at the Princeton Lady Vikings girls varsity basketball game today. We picked up stats from the scores table at halftime. David, probably not a lot of surprises on there.
No, as we talked about, just a very defensive game. Fairfield's only 2 of 27 from the field, which hurts, being only 7.41%, where Princeton was 33%. Rebounds, Fairfield has 16 offensive rebounds, which has to hurt. And you got to make those second chance points if you're getting 16 offensive rebounds compared to Princeton's 8. Turnovers, another big thing. Fairfield had 10, Princeton had 7. It's close in the rebounding game. It's only an 8 rebound difference. Just not a lot of stuff you like to see. Fairfield just mainly scored a lot from the free throw line. They're 7 of 16.
Princeton gets the ball to open the second half, and we are underway, trying to add to their 8-point lead. Reed gets partially deflected by Schaefer. Turnover right off the bat. Bailey for the Lady Indians. Shot won't fall. Rebounded underneath. Reed with another block. Boy, she's been just dominant defensively down there. Quick transition down the down the court for the Lady Vikings. The shot will not fall. Fairfield comes up with the ball. That was Jackie Heinzman who was trying to get it. Schaefer all alone off the glass. Good for 2. Leads down to 6.
Great transition there for Schaefer just to be wide open and finish. You got a 6-point game, Glenn, and I think Fairfield going in having a short halftime is going to just try to buy a bucket.
Easy bucket for Jamisha Smith, senior post player, listed at 6'1". Lead back out to 8, 21-13 as the first minute of the third quarter comes to a close. Turnover for Fairfield. Boy, they're just having trouble making clean passes tonight and being able to get it in a good spot to where the receiving player can go get it.
Yeah, and it's just tough. Like even if it's not in a if it's a good pass, they're not being able to handle it, which like kind of confuses me. Like you got to be able to control those passes and palm them.
Reed with a perimeter shot will not fall. Rebounded underneath by the Lady Vikings. They maintain control. It was Jackie Heinzman doing a good job and down in the low post. Reed tries to bully her way through. Again, the shot won't fall. Heinzman tries to come up with the rebound. It is tapped out of bounds underneath by Fairfield. Ball will stay with the Lady Vikings underneath their own basket. 6:33 in the third quarter. Reed from 15 feet tries to pass it down underneath to Heinzman. It's deflected out of bounds. Stays with Princeton.
Fairfield's done a good job of deflecting the ball and just getting it out of bounds. They just haven't been able to use those deflections.
Crash into the lane for an easy pass off the glass. Trinity Morris. Lead opens up to 10. Relentless defense by the Lady Vikings results in a turnover. Bringing the ball down is Malika Wilden. Foul called. She'll be going to the line to shoot a pair, I believe. Nope, it'll be Princeton ball underneath the basket, excuse me. Foul was called on Fairfield's Khalees Jones, the junior guard. Her first, team's first of the half. Shot will not fall for the Vikings. Lady Indians move the ball down on offense. Pull up 3 ball off the back iron, no good. Princeton rebounds underneath. No foul. Heinzman lost control of it that time, and a foul will come on a struggle for control of the basketball.
Just a lot of like quick basketball, Glenn, and you really don't want to see that with the lead being 10. You want to slow down and be patient, as we've talked about for a lot of the game, and they just haven't done a lot of that. Now it's just a bunch of quick transition with not very good shot selections or defensive decisions.
Fairfield's going to try to slow things down. Schaefer going up against Reed, chooses to dish it off to the right wing, and there's going to be a foul called. Referees getting their money's worth out of their whistles today. Foul's going to be called on Malika Wilden. Now with 3. 2 fouls in the second half for Princeton. Shots and air ball as it hit the net and it's arced downward. Princeton comes up with it. 10-point lead. Trying to find Reed up at 15 feet on the free throw line extended. Fairfield got a hand on it. Princeton comes up with it. There's Reed underneath. And double dribble is going to be called. Nice job by Schaefer of forcing that double dribble, getting her feet set and giving Reed reason to pause before driving on into the basket.
I'm a big fan of that post match. I'm going Reed and Schaefer just because they're both they're big bodies. They take them a lot of the paint, and they want to be the aggressor. They want to control what's going on in the paint.
All kinds of substitutions taking place on the floor. Deasia Reed, the most notable player to come out or come off the floor at this point for the Lady Vikings. 23-13, approaching the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. Vikings opened that lead up to 10. Have done a good job of hanging on to it. Fairfield just struggling for answers offensively against this tremendous Lady Vikings defense. Over and back is the call. Princeton will take over possession of the basketball. Mr. Sims has to go all the way across the floor to chase down the basketball. The visitor bleachers pushed in. That's a lot of floor space to cover over there.
Yeah. I know that from volleyball.
Here are the Lady Vikings back on offense. Oh, Vikings were trying to get the ball over to Kamaya Sandage. And it's going to be a foul called on Fairfield's Zariah Bailey, I believe, is who will get it.
Oh, look over. Oh,
Princeton inbounds underneath their own basket, driving into the paint. A shot from about 10 feet will not fall. Last touch by Schaefer. It'll stay there with the Lady Vikings. Inbounding the ball will be Jackie Heinzman for Princeton.
the Vikings have a good out-of-bounds play, but they're not looking at the option on the wing. Well, now they do, but that first one they ran. They didn't look, and she was wide open.
Shot just inside a three-point will not fall for Kamaya Sandage. Schaefer comes up with it. She's going to make her way down the court. Defense catches up. She dishes it off. Again, almost a passing turnover. Three ball will not go. Schaefer comes up with it underneath, but she's triple teamed. She goes up, gets the foul. Haven't seen the indication that the basket will count. And Schaefer took a hard fall to the floor.
Here's Schaefer going for the rebound. She just demanded the ball and threw two people and just slipped. Lost her footing, so gets the and one and gets momentum back on the Indian side.
23-15. Schaefer goes to the free throw line. Maddie Schaefer, a 5'10" junior forward. Takes her time at the free throw line. Shot will not go, not enough arc, kind of flat. Lead will hold at 8. Turnover. Here's Bailey with the ball. Wisely decides to hold up as she was going into a 1-on-3 matchup. Usually that's not a good numbers matchup that'll work, right?
I don't think so.
That's actually not Bailey, excuse me. That's Shania Reese. Kid is going to drive in.
I think that was a pass.
Boy, I tell you. Tamisha Smith is just has been a big of a force underneath as Deasia Reed has been for Princeton. You don't want to get that ball anywhere near her in that low post.
It helps when they're the aggressor, Glenn. If they're the ones that are willing to initiate the contact, it's going to be you're going to control the paint all night. Madison
Rochelle approaches the scorer's table. She'll check back in at the next dead ball, which occurs after yet another turnover on a deflection. So Rochelle is going to come in. Who's going to take a seat? It's going to be number 24, Kamaya Sandage, senior guard, will sit down. Talk things over with her assistant coach. Shot will not fall for Princeton. Lead holds at 8. Lady Indians have control of the basketball. Let's see what they can dial up on offense to try to get things going. Zaria Bailey with the basketball on the left wing, finds Kidd down low. Oh, that was just a bully turnover and an easy bucket.
Took her lunch money.
Wow. I mean, yeah, just bullied her way in, took the basketball. That's a freshman, man.
Yeah.
Madison Rochelle, we talked about it a couple times, just a freshman and played like a wily veteran there on that steal. Go back and take a look at it, and you'll see what we're talking about here on the replay. Watch Rochelle. Just reaches in, a little bit of physical contact. Seaford doesn't call it.
Kids just got to be more patient with the ball there and put an arm out just to protect herself from that happening, because she was just nonchalant dribbling the ball and obviously a turnover out of it.
Fairfield ball underneath. Schaefer in the paint. Again, tries that turnaround hook move. It won't go. Rochelle and Schaefer one-on-one. Boy, I tell you, she's just got skills you would never guess she was a freshman, man. Fairfield back down, though. Kidd from the wing, won't fall. Or excuse me, that's Kidd underneath, taking the perimeter shot for Fairfield. Well, it's Kayla Somerville.
Travel.
And traveling is called. So Kidd will handle the inbounding duties at midcourt for Fairfield. 2:35 in the third. Vikings have opened up a 12-point lead.
That was a great job by Kidd down there to recover off that three-point shot and missed her first layup, got the ball back, went up strong, and finished. And that's what you want to see from your post players, Glenn.
Bailey controlling the tempo on the offense. Going to go inside into the lane and gets a friendly roll. Let that one go from about 13 feet. Fairfield gets the ball back quickly. And they're going to say Bailey stepped out of bounds on the spin move underneath. No, they're calling a foul on Princeton.
When Fairfield runs this full court press, it's tough to break because they are just going to swarm all over the ball, and they've had probably a few steals just from that.
Jackie Heinzman picks up her second, team's fifth of the second half with 2:14 remaining here. Somerville looks for Kidd inside a little bit too hard. Deasia Reed comes up with it. Passes the ball back over. Wilden to bring it down.
Oh, look up, look up.
Bailey just can't come up with it, a little bit too far out in front of her.
That was a great play, Glenn. I mean, just smart decision to throw that ball up in transition. Just her momentum, and she threw it too late, just took her out of bounds. But I like that play, or that decision, just to throw the ball up and try to get the bucket.
Fairfield tried a little bit of pressure, so Princeton just threw it up high where Deasia Reed could go get it.
They called a deflection there?
Yeah. So it's going to be Princeton ball underneath the Fairfield basket. Or underneath their own basket, excuse me. Reed, shot won't fall, and she's fouled underneath.
Kids got to be more aggressive on Reed there. She just lost sight of her, and she was wide open. You got to have vision of both the ball and your man, and you got to be straight up on one of their best post players because she's gonna dominate down the paint.
Addie Kidd picks up her second, team's third. Reed from the free throw line, no good, off the back iron. And Kidd will go out, checking into the game for Fairfield's number 30, Alyssa West. She's a senior guard. Deasia Reed, second free throw attempt on the way with 1:42 remaining. She missed both of them. Rebound underneath by Fairfield.
Coach Loper has just got the surrender Cobra look right now, and I don't know why. I mean, it's not like he's getting blown out. Just obviously frustrated with some decisions that are being made. And ball movement's got to be crucial here.
Another turnover, and an uncontested look to the basket will not fall, and a foul on the backside of it.
Late foul there, Glenn. Late foul.
Foul will be called on Zariah Bailey, her second.
You can't just lob those passes, Glenn. Sorry.
No.
To cut you off, but you just can't lob those passes when Princeton's got a tenacious defense.
Free throw attempt is no good. It's been a tough go of it from the free throw line tonight. Just saw Deasia Reed miss a pair. Now here's Trinity Morris. Misses the front end. Let's see what she can do with shot number 2. That one won't fall either. Very physical struggle for the ball on the floor in the paint. Jump ball is called. Fairfield will get it on the alternating possession. They trail by 6 with 1:19 to go in the third quarter. Here at Viking Arena on the campus of Princeton High School, Glenn Olson and David Olson with you. Dean Lowry in the truck. Another foul. He took the over-under on total fouls in this game at 40. If he took the over, you might be in good shape, I think, when it's all said and done.
I think so, Glenn. Man, you can just peek. The snow is just coming down out there.
So I'm glad we're in here.
It's kind of toasty in the gym, Glenn.
Well, I'm glad we parked behind the truck.
Oh, no.
Well, back to non-snow related matters on the floor. Here's Fairfield with a chance to cut this lead down in the last minute of the third quarter, and they just are having a hard time getting anything that looks like an executed play once they get down around the perimeter and the three-point line.
And this Princeton's defense is just so tough. You have to ball fake. That's crucial because they're going to block everything. You have to ball fake, get them in the air, then bounce pass it.
So you saw Reed there forcing a jump ball. Alyssa, or that's not Alyssa, what? It's Alexis Yarbrough, excuse me. So Princeton back down on offense. Reed, good matchup in the post. Fights her way through it. Shot will not fall. But there to clean it up, Madison Rochelle, the freshman phenom for Jill Phillips. Just about 20 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Fairfield's got to be patient. Have a good shot. Then draw a foul. I'll take that.
Deasia Reed with the foul on Alexis Yarborough as she tried to lay one in. Take a look at the replay here.
I like this. Just she's feeling her way and goes up and gets the foul. I'll take that over taking a worse shot. You draw the foul and go on the charity stripe. So we'll see if we can get the game back within 6.
First free throw attempt was good. Leads down to 7, as David said. Chance to get it here to 6 for Yarborough and her Lady Indian teammates. Second shot is good, and she does. So Fairfield showing a little bit of tenacity here. They're hanging around. Time Princeton opens up a big lead. They chip away at it. Fairfield does and gets right back. 30-second timeout called by Coach Phillips. Having a hard time getting the ball out from underneath there.
Especially one-on-one. I mean, you would think that she would be able to cross over and go one way, but Fairfield was playing really good defense, and I like the call by Coach Phillips just to call a 30-second timeout to discuss what they want to do to break that one-on-one press.
Dean, if we can go back, if you've got that, if we have a chance to go back and take a look at that, I think it's worth seeing because that was pretty pivotal for Fairfield there to not lose that. We don't have it, unfortunately, to bring to you, but Fairfield had a pretty good chance to force a turnover there in their own offensive half court. And Coach Phillips wisely called a timeout. But boy, Fairfield's getting relentless on defense now, and that does force a turnover. Bucket won't fall, and the quarter expires. So a very physical, a very back and forth third quarter has seen the Princeton Vikings lead cut to 6. It's 27 for the Lady Vikings and 21 for the Lady Indians, David.
And I think Coach Loper would be very pleased with how his Lady Indians played there at the end of the third quarter. They played very well, very good defense. Took great shots. They drew fouls. They'll be shooting 1-on-1 the rest of the half. And I just think he's very pleased with it being a 6-point game. That he can. Now they got to be able to make a run here as we get a look at our replay schedule.
For our Spectrum and Optics customers, a couple different showings you can take advantage of starting tonight, the day we're shooting this game, Saturday the 9th. For you late night folks that are tired of the politics on Saturday Night Live, turn over and check out ICRC-TV Sports. But as always, you can catch this game and all of our other content available at ICRC-TV.com. ICRC-TV.com. You can also find information there if you'd like to volunteer for us and learn how to be a part of our studio and remote productions. Work with our excellent remote production specialists, Dean Lowry and Jason Dudley. Ask for Jason at ICRC-TV. Okay, just about ready to get the fourth quarter underway. Set the scene for you again in case you've just tuned in. It's 27-21 in favor of Princeton. They've had a lead in excess of 12, or at least 12, if not in excess of 12 at one point during that quarter, but Fairfield has continued to chip away, and they are going to start things out on offense here in the fourth and final quarter. And Princeton is going to ramp up the defensive intensity. Only 7 fouls, David, for Princeton in that third quarter.
Yeah, but it's better than their 10 in the first.
Well, that's
quarter.
That's what I was saying. They dialed back the foul situation a little bit. Certainly not the aggressiveness on defense. but just the fouls.
Yeah, and that jump ball call, Glenn, was very quick. I'm not sure about that. I think that easily could have been that easily could have came up to one team if there was a scrum, but refs have been on their whistles all day, as you've mentioned.
Reed underneath. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Princeton is up the tempo on offense here. We're going to see if they can tire out Fairfield a little bit. Off-balance shot. Foul's going to be on Reed.
That's a great way. So that puts Reed with 4 fouls, and that's a great way to attack the basket, as we're going to see here on the replay. It's a one pass, few dribbles, and she's just going to drive hard and draw that 4th foul on Reed, which is good with it being early in the 4th quarter. Now Fairfield needs to be able to attack Reed for the rest of the half and try to draw that 5th foul.
Reed's going to come out. Checking in her place will be number 24, Kamaya Sandage, the senior guard. Still also have down in that post Jamisha Smith, so not giving up a lot of height at all. Lead down to 4, 27-23. Here come the Vikings. Shot will not fall. That's Smith underneath. And another jump ball is called. Possession will turn over to the Lady Indians.
As we get late in the 4th quarter here, Glenn, you know this game has big conference implications. Fairfield's 2-1 in the conference. Princeton's 3-0. They're still fighting for that GMC Lady Women's title.
Yeah, of course, Princeton tied for first place with Mason and Lakota West. Fairfield tied for second with Hamilton. Long 3-ball will not fall. Lady Indians couldn't come up with that free throw. Princeton back down the court quickly.
Great ball movement.
Yeah, good ball movement, a couple of good passes, and the lead's back up to 6 for Princeton. Great job underneath the basket by Kamaya Sandage.
Sorry, Glenn, but that's unselfish basketball. Being able to dish it 3 times to the open player and take the best shot possible instead of taking an off balance or not a very good shot.
Long 3 from the corner will not go. Rebound underneath. Boy, Fairfield getting every chance in the world and just can't seem to hang on to the basketball underneath. Let's take a look on replay at that last pass here, or that last points for Princeton.
Just a skip, and I mean, great. Just the way they baited the defense over to get her, and wide open player coming down the court, easy bucket.
Princeton noticeably, as I mentioned on the last time, has turned up the tempo on offense. Long 3-pointer will not fall. Willow White's long 3.
That would have been the first made 3 we've seen all day.
Fairfield gets the ball back. 6 minutes to go, a 6-point lead for Princeton. Again, long 3-pointer, well off the mark. You can see what Fairfield's trying to do. They're just having trouble executing it. But Princeton back down the floor quickly. And a couple of easy points for number 22, Jackie Heinzman. Lead up to 8, 31-23. Travel. Yep. Too many steps, not enough dribbles.
That would have been legal in the NBA.
Probably right, especially if you're LeBron.
Yeah.
Yarborough will take a seat for the Lady Indians. There you see her, number 31. Princeton with the ball underneath the Fairfield basket. Trying to break through this pressure and get down and get their offense set.
Really?
Foul is called on Fairfield's number 11, Shania Reese. She's a transfer in from Lakota East, by the way. Jill Phillips coached at Lakota East for a couple of years before coming back to Princeton last year. Schaefer underneath. 2 points for Fairfield. And a timeout taken on the floor. 31-25, 5:11 remaining in the game. Princeton with 18 fouls. Fairfield with 5. Princeton has 3 timeouts left. Fairfield has 4.
Glenn, I want to see Fairfield when they're on offense not have to throw up a 3, because I feel like just throwing up the 3 is it's like more of like a minute left situation. There's 5 minutes left here in the game. They got to be patient on offense. They got to work the ball around, and they got to find easy layups or take smarter shots if they want to get back in this game. With it being a 6-point game, if Fairfield can do that, take better shots and start getting shots to fall, we could have a tie ball game here in no time.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it a couple times during this broadcast. This GMC is rugged for girls basketball, and I would think the only conference where you're probably going to have as intense a level of competition would be the girls GCL South.
I agree with that, Glenn. And, it's different obviously in the guys game, but we did a girls GCL South game last year, and it was a physical game through and through. So I like seeing the physical play here in the GMC.
Yeah, things not getting easier for any of these teams in this GMC. So just a lot of missed shots and a hard foul from behind by Kamaya Sandage. The physicality, the tempo have all been turned up here as we approach the last 4 minutes of this contest. Fairfield has hung around. They've got to as close as 4 here in the second half. Lead sits at 6 currently. Opportunity to get it back down to 4 here. Can make a couple of free throws.
And Glenn, as you mentioned, how the physicality has really picked up here in the fourth quarter. That's conference basketball. It doesn't matter what sport or what, like boys or girls. If you're playing a conference basketball game, it's going to be physical until the last whistle blows.
Yeah. So free throws, or the free throw was not good. Princeton comes up with the basketball underneath the Fairfield basket. A little bit of confusion on the floor with maybe an inadvertent horn at the scorer's table. Don't see any players trying to check in. So ball should stay with Princeton underneath Fairfield's basket, which it does. Those triggers on the horn can be a little sensitive sometimes.
Yeah, especially with the horn here being as loud as it is. One little touch and the whole game could stop.
Just a beautiful arena here, this Vikings arena on the campus of Princeton High School. Great place to watch basketball. Hosted women's tournaments games last year. Assume the same will be happening again this year.
Really any sport, Glenn, just being in an atmosphere like this, in like an arena-style setting, it's just a pleasure to be in a situation like this.
A lot of good gyms in this GMC now. Lots of coverage lately about Middletown's new arena opening. Nice shot. Popped in there by Jamisha Smith, 33-25, lead back up to 8 for the Lady Vikings. Very physical right in front of the Fairfield bench. Ball will stay with Princeton. Yeah, it's a very, very intense game from a physical standpoint.
What you like to see, you don't want to see soft basketball. You want to see hard-nosed, fought basketball where people are playing. I mean, where you don't want to see blood, but you just want to see the physicality. And as a coach, you love seeing physical. I mean, especially if they can, if you're the initiator, you love that.
Ball's inbounded back in. That's Malika Wilden controlling things. She's a senior guard. Move the ball around the perimeter, turnover. Fairfield will get the ball back. 3:29 remaining in the contest. Timeout, full timeout will be taken on the floor. 33-25, the Lady Vikings lead is up to 8, 3:29 to go. 3 timeouts left for both teams at this point. So Fairfield, after showing some early promise, struggling to get that lead inside of 4.
Yeah, and it's the shot selection, Glenn, and it's not very good. We want it to be great, and then it's just not become very good. They're taking a lot of outside threes, and they haven't hit one yet. And I don't think it's panic time yet. There's still 3 minutes and 29 seconds left. I think really they just got to be patient on offense, let plays develop, reverse the ball, work the ball inside, because obviously the paint's going to be where they're going to score, the paint or the free throw line. And if they can do that, I think they can be back in this ball game, no problem. And they just got to limit their turnovers, limit bad shot selections, and get stops on defense. That's all it is.
Well, Fairfield late to break the huddle. Princeton broke theirs pretty quickly. Let's see what Coach Loper is drawn up for the Indians. Try to get this game tied back up. They trail by 8. Going to need to get good shots off here as the time's starting to become an issue. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Schaefer in the paint, gets fouled. She attempts to bring the ball up to the basket.
I think that was a great play, and as we're going to see here again, just a way to make the defenders collapse on her and have Schaefer wide open. And Schaefer obviously misses the shot, but she's got 2 free throws here. And I think it's a big difference when Deasia Reed isn't in the game, just because she was just such a force in the paint, rebounding and blocking shots.
First free throw does not fall for Schaefer. You know, one thing you can't deny there was the job Shania Reese did with that basketball, looking like she was going to drive in and then dishing it over into the paint to Schaefer. Can't take advantage of the opportunity, though. The lead holds at 8.
Block, yeah.
And that's going to be a blocking foul underneath. Princeton able to push the ball down the floor quickly.
Just one long pass, and I mean, just it was a great effort.
Yeah,
trying to get there.
Zariah Bailey comes over. She's just 5 foot and taking on that tall post players. She did what she had to do.
And you got to make them earn them. And yeah, she made it. And we have an 11-point game. I still wouldn't start firing up threes yet. Just you need to take some smart shots here. I would probably say about 2 minutes, 1:30 is when you need to start firing up long balls, just to try to make an impact, but or even just drive hard and get an and one.
Well, and Princeton has settled back into half-court defense. They're not pressing at all. Jump ball will stay with Fairfield. Substitution for the Lady Indians. Somerville back into the game. She will handle the inbounding duties underneath. 5'7" forward, or guard, excuse me. They're able to get the ball in successfully. Somerville with the ball out on the perimeter. They're going to continue to work that perimeter, trying to get something to open up in the post. Bailey's going to drive in, and a foul. It's going to be on number 22, Jackie Heinzman. That's her 4th. So joining Jamisha Smith as the Lady Vikings on the players with 4. Nobody on the floor for Fairfield right now in foul trouble. The Vikings hanging on to an 11-point lead, make it 10 after Bailey's first free throw falls through. Substitution into the game, number 22, Journey Hicks comes back in for Somerville. Bailey's second free throw is good.
Fairfield on offense really needs to get like a full reversal. They're only passing it top to top, and it's not really exploiting the defense. But if they can get a full reversal, I think that would really exploit the openings in the defense.
What a job there by Jamisha Smith. 2 defenders on her. She just held on to the ball, let their momentum take them on by, and put the ball into the basket. 38-27, 11-point lead, 2:27. Time working against the Fairfield Indians when they've had to play quick, not gotten off good shots, but that's what they're going to have to do now to have any chance of getting this game close or even tied. Bailey, long ball, 3-pointer falls through. So just as I tell them they're playing too quick, they play quick and hit a 3-pointer.
Announcer's curse, right?
Yeah, hey, whatever works.
Hey, yeah, so you get an 8-point lead now for Princeton with 2:15 to go. I like the 3 selection there just to make it a single-digit lead. Now Fairfield really has to step up on defense here, get a big stop, and then now on offense, take a smart shot. I wouldn't throw up a 3 yet, unless it's uncontested and an open and a player you trust with the ball. Don't give it to just someone just to throw up a 3 for fun. Give it to someone who you trust out there on the perimeter to make a shot.
Good points. It's doable. It's only 8 points. We've seen crazier things happen.
Tracy McGrady can score 13 points in 30 seconds, so I think Fairfield can do something here.
Well, I think one thing Fairfield's going to have to look back on as they review this game is just going to be the missed opportunities, especially at the free throw line, especially in regard to shot selection. We talked about a lot, but just some work to be done on free throws. You know, continue to say that free throw shooting in a high school game seems like it's a lost art sometimes, but coaches tell me they're working on it.
No,
Maybe I guess it's tougher than I think it is.
It is very tough, Glenn. You know, with me having firsthand experience of these guys, and we work on free throw every day. Just when it comes to games, they go back to bad habits, getting off quick shots, and not taking the time at the free throw line. I mean, they got 10 seconds.
Right.
I'm like what I always preach is take a deep breath and use those 10 seconds. Don't rush something.
Boy, Princeton did a great job of beating that press, and the shot just would not fall. Fairfield comes back up with it. There's Bailey back at right about where she hit that three last time. Three's going to get fired up from the coffin corner, and it falls through. What a fantastic shot.
Fairfield's got to be smart. Can't foul, but they need another stop here.
Yeah, that was Journey Hicks that fired up that three.
Oh, deep three ball.
Down to 5, will not fall. Rebound by Bailey for the Lady Indians. Fairfield with a chance here. Good dish off, shot will not fall. Rebounded underneath. Boy, no travel call. Referees let him play. That was Madison Rochelle that led the way for Princeton to come up with that ball. But now Mr. Sims is going to call a carry. 124 remaining against Princeton.
With my experience with basketball, Glenn, you really don't see that called late in a game. Like the carry call is just such a stupid call in my opinion, and it's rare that you're going to see that call late in the game. I know we've had that called against us late in a game. It's just it's like one of those calls. It's like you're really going to call that at the fourth quarter of a 5-point conference game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the second carrying call we've had in this game alone. Normally you see one a game if you see it at all, and we've had 2 in this game here so far. 124 remaining. The Lady Indians are within 5. They have 6 team fouls. Princeton with 10. Princeton 2 timeouts left. The Indians with just 1. So it's going to be an exciting finish. Thanks again to those of you who have tuned in live through ICRC-TV.com and our YouTube channel. Great girls basketball action here today from Princeton High School and Vikings Arena. Here come the Indians with a chance to cut this lead down to maybe 2 points, depending on what happens. Bailey, good move to get by the defense, dishes it off.
short.
Shot is short, coming up from the corner by Somerville. Princeton with an easy rebound. There's the freshman phenom. Boy, this kid is going to be something special. Madison Rochelle.
Wow.
She's going to be a lot of fun to watch this season and moving forward. Bailey with the ball out on the perimeter. She's going to go into the paint. And there again is Rochelle. Boy, Rochelle has just stepped up to be a force here in the second half of this game.
I mean, how fast she got down that court on that steal. Holy crap. Here's the drive and a block by Rochelle. And
yeah, man.
Oh, man.
She's just a heck of a player underneath there. Princeton, again, gets through that press pretty effortlessly. Fairfield has to play catch-up now. 7-point lead for Princeton. Got 30 seconds to bleed off here. And a foul. It's going to be a blocking foul called on Khalees Jones.
And I think Fairfield was very hesitant to foul there because they didn't want to let one of the better free throw shooters get it. There's probably an assistant coach down there with a stat sheet of who's their best free throw shooter, who's their worst free throw shooter, and they want to send that worst free throw shooter to the line and give them a chance.
Free throw will not fall for Ashley Davis. Or excuse me. It's Wilden.
Timeout.
Fairfield will take their last timeout. They trail by 7 with just under 17 seconds remaining. Fairfield's had some opportunities here, but the Princeton defense has stepped up when it mattered.
Yeah, and I think Coach Loper I think he's going to draw up some play where there's going to be a screen away from the ball and then a screen on the ball or something along those lines to get a shooter, one of his shooters open. And to get a bucket, if you get the 3 here and then foul, then you better hope they don't make the free throw. Coach Loper seems very calm, as we see here in this huddle. He's not down on one knee like most coaches are, drawing up a play. He's being very just composed with his Indians.
It's going to take a lot of doing to get this one knotted up, but should be an exciting finish nonetheless. Coach Phillips not drawing up any plays either in the Princeton huddles you see there. Just talking to the 5 players who are going to go back out on the floor about what they're going to need to do here to close this one out and remain undefeated and remain tied for first place in the GMC. 2 close games last year between these 2 programs. Neither one of them major blowouts, but both Princeton wins. So pretty good little rivalry here between these 2 GMC foes, separated by just a few miles and a county line. Shot will not fall underneath, and then a foul as Princeton rebounds the ball. Foul will be called on Fairfield's Khalees Jones. Will be number 3 for her. 8 for the team with 9 seconds exactly remaining in the game. Fairfield just keeping 2 players underneath to attempt to rebound and push the ball back down the floor. First free throw is good. Lead back up to 8 points. At the free throw line is Jamisha Smith, the senior post player. She nails both of them. Lead up to 9. So Fairfield probably with one last chance here to get points in this game. Bailey's going to drive in and get deflected by who? Rochelle.
Our freshman.
Yeah, Madison Rochelle.
I don't know what it is, Glenn, but the last time we did a girls' basketball game, I think we had a standout freshman in the Roger Bacon and the Chaminade Julian game. So
yeah, the Chaminade.
I don't know what it is about
the Chaminade freshman player. Yeah.
Yeah, oh man, I don't know what it is. It's good basketball in the GCL South, GMC South. I mean, it's what you like to see. You like to see good, fundamental basketball, and that's what we saw here today.
Bailey's first free throw is good, as is the second. Gets the lead down to 7 with 3 seconds left. Princeton inbounds the ball. One last shot, and that will do it. Your final, the Princeton Lady Vikings, 42. Fairfield Lady Indians, 35. Hard-fought GMC game, as we expected it would be. David, your final thoughts?
You know, I thought we saw some great basketball today. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. It was tough. It was competitive. That's what you like to see in a conference game. Princeton's obviously got to work on just getting some defensive rebounds and not limiting the offensive rebounds and turnovers. And I'm excited to see what the rest of GMC does the rest of the year, Glenn.
Well, thanks to Princeton High School, our athletic director, Gary Crowley Jr., for hosting us here today. Thanks for Dean Lowry and his crew for coming out in the snow. Thanks to our executive producer, Tim Newman, for making it all possible. For Dean, for David, I'm Glenn. Been watching girls varsity basketball on ICRC-TV Sports. So long, everyone.